In the age of information, Black mental enslavement is now a personal choice. Millions of Black people now walks around daily with computers in their pockets with access to unlimited verifiable information, literally at their fingertips, yet insist on believing in mental enslaving lies that were forced upon our ancestors. And they're so mentally enslaved that they now fiercely fight to defend those lies that our ancestors fiercely fought to resist. Therefore, they now spiritually fight against their own ancestors. Those who know the truth must teach, and a speaker of truth has no friends. African Proverbs. After invading and enslaving we Africans, the white society never wanted us thinking for ourselves. So they made sure to maintain a firm grasp over what we believe. Through their monopoly over the education we're taught, the media images we see, and the narratives that we routinely hear, they've kept us thinking in ways that serves and protects the interests of their white society. And they've continued this for more than 400 years. The white society's monopoly over the input that are fed into the collective minds of Black people has always provided them with their greatest power over Black people. Thanks to a Nigerian computer scientist who invented a supercomputer that led to the birth of the internet, and also thanks to an African-American computer scientist who invented the computer programming that is simply known as .com, which allows everyone access to the internet. We Africans now, for the first time in history, we now are able to communicate globally. We now have access to true liberating information. However, because of the hundreds of years of being colonized and socially engineered by the white societies, millions of Black people therefore no longer cares about Black liberation. Most now only wants a comfortable position within the system of white supremacy. Therefore, they use the internet to post silly video clips or twerking clips, just in the hope of getting likes. These Black people are now participants in their own mental enslavement. Those who participate in their own mental enslavement while ignoring reality invites their own destruction. I post the Black liberating truth for those who don't want to participate in their own destruction, and for those that are tired of believing in things that literally insults their own intelligence. Here is the truth of our current situation. Because our enemies writes our narratives and controls our media images, they negatively distorts and marginalizes them in order to condition us to perceive ourselves through a false inherent subordinate identity that aids them in maintaining their social dominance over our lives. They routinely falsely marginalizes everything about us and falsely exalts everything about themselves. On their published maps, they even make Africa appear 13 times smaller than its true relative size, while making all white countries appear significantly larger than their true sizes. It's being done to subliminally embed a value system into the collective minds of Black people that not only makes us more compliant with their white dominance over our lives, in many cases, it causes many of us to even prefer their white dominance over our lives. People are easily controlled by the information that they receive about themselves. Keeping Black people believing the fraudulent worse and fraudulent lesser about ourselves is how the white society maintains its control and social dominance over Black people. Rather than questioning or challenging the validity of the white society's false negative depictions of us, most Black people have been conditioned to blindly accept it, to capitulate to it, and function based upon it as if it's true. When they say that our racial group in the U.S. commits most violent crimes, are the largest recipient of welfare, large benefactor of affirmative actions, and that our men are the most deadbeat fathers, we blindly accept these narratives, although none of these narratives are true. FBI data shows that most violent crimes in the U.S., specifically involving homicide, are committed by Caucasians. Data also reveals that the largest benefactor of affirmative action and largest recipient of welfare are also Caucasians. And it's untrue that black men are the worst fathers. The CDC found that 67% of black dads who don't live with their kids see them on a regular basis, compared to just 58% of white dads and just 32% of Hispanic dads. And there's compelling evidence that number of black dads living apart from their kids stem from structural systems of inequality and poverty, not the unfounded assumption that African American men somehow place less value on parenting. The study also found that black dads are even more likely to think it's important to financially provide for their children. The white society has also manipulated millions of black people to believe that there's a deficiency of black on black love. They literally have millions of us believing that black people are running in droves to marry white spouses. In reality, the truth is the direct opposite. U.S. Census Bureau report found that 86.5% of African American husbands are married to black women. Only 7% are married to white women. The U.S. Census also found that black women were the least likely to marry white men, with only 4% are married to white men, and that an astounding 91% of black women in America are married to black men. The fact is that most black people prefer to marry black people. Black love does strongly exist. It is actually Asian women who have the highest rate of marrying outside their race at 24%. Black people's negative perception about our collective state is an elaborate white deception. It's the result of a nefarious perception management system. Perception management is a propaganda technique that involves altering the perceptions of a targeted population to suit the objectives of the ruling class. White social scientists determined a long time ago that by falsely negatively distorting what black people believe about ourselves collectively, they could demoralize us, divide us, make us self-loathing, and shift black collective aggressions away from the white society and redirect it against ourselves. Moreover, that keeping us within this condition makes us much more easier to control and easier to be subjugated, and we could then be ruled over forever. Perception management is a well-proven system that is an essential part of modern information warfare. If you do not understand today's massive perception management systems that are being now used by the white ruling class for maintaining their white social dominance, for maintaining the system of white supremacy, what they are, how they work, if you don't understand it, everything else will only confuse you. It will only confuse the hell out of you. The confusion is why so many black people suffer from feelings of self-hatred. Those black people who insist that they've confirmed it for themselves, that the white society's negative depictions of our racial group are true, are either not critical thinkers or they are delusional. Because it's not humanly possible to accurately assess the collective state of millions of people based upon anyone's individual experiences. It's not humanly possible. The reason why many black people insist that they confirm their negative assessments about our racial group based on their own experiences is because once a false belief has been successfully embedded into the human mind, people then only notice those incidents that appears to confirm the embedded belief. And they become psychologically blinded from seeing the greater amount of evidences refuting it. When people are told lies enough time, it becomes a part of their reality. They begin to only see those things that appears to confirm the lie. It's the inherent flaw within the human psyche. It is called the illusory truth effect. The illusory truth effect is a tendency to believe false information to be correct after repeatedly exposed to the false information. Then once the false information has been successfully embedded into the collective minds of people, they will start functioning based upon it as being true, even though it is in fact not. As I said, it's an inherent flaw within human psyche. White oppressive forces thoroughly studied this mental phenomenon and weaponized it against Black people. Here's an example of this. When Black women repeatedly receive white media reports propagating the narrative of the deadbeat Black father, when these Black women experience a deadbeat Black father within their personal life, many begin insisting that the narrative is true. But in reality, their individual experience is not enough to confirm what's being said about Black men. None of the many negative things presently believed about our racial group by Black people have been confirmed by us, nor can we confirm them. They've all been deliberately indoctrinated into our collective minds by white propagandists. And then our minds became trapped with an illusory truth effect. Keeping Black people believing the fraudulent worst possible narratives about ourselves is how the white society prevents us from unifying ourselves against them. It's how they protect themselves from massive unified Black retribution. More specifically, keeping us believing the fraudulent worst about ourselves leads to a self-fulfilling prophecy that mentally enslaves us. A self-fulfilling prophecy is a process through which an originally false narrative leads to its own confirmation. In a self-fulfilling prophecy, people start functioning based upon the lies they've been misled to believe about themselves, thus making it true. Not realizing that it's only their perception that is true, which is making it true. Because we've been socially engineered to place more importance in being religious and holy rather than being critical thinkers, we are therefore easy victims of those who've studied how to mentally enslave our collective minds. This psychological warfare program works so well, in fact, that it not only makes Black people more compliant with white dominance over our lives, in many cases, it makes Black people prefer it. It is at the root of both the feelings of self-hatred and profound division that prevails among our community. White oppressive forces have created an elaborate prison for our minds. And it's time for us to wake up. As long as you sit there believing in Willie Lynch or the Bible, you're going to remain a damn fool. You're going to remain mentally enslaved. You're going to go from your cradle to your grave, having lived your entire life, and your mind was never your own. You live and die as a white man's fool and a white man's slave. You have to learn the social science, the true social science that they don't want you to learn. Those of you who insist that the Bible is our liberation, the Bible has been made available to billions of Black people around the world. And Bibles have been published by white companies. If the Bible truly can liberate us, would the white man have provided to billions of us around the world? Who provides liberating information? No one does. They don't give liberating information to the oppressed. The fact that the Bible has been given to billions of Black people around the world, it inherently disqualifies it from being true liberating information. As long as you cling to that Bible, you will remain a damn fool. You have to learn the social sciences. They've thoroughly studied the mind, and they've created a prison for our minds. It's time to wake the hell up. One love and peace.